Welcome back to the ping table of our pre-season reviews of each team. Today, well, this episode, we've done already one today. This episode, we're covering two big teams, Alain. We have Lazio and Juventus.
Yeah, so now we're getting to the meat and the potatoes. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at the Juventus team leading into this season. You've got the stalwart in goal, Szczesny, who's been there forever and a day now. The defense itself really quite unchanged. Quadrato, De Ligt and Bonucci in the middle. Expect to see some change with Chiellini coming in whenever he's needed or whenever he can play. Alexandro out on the left. So your typical Juventus defense. The midfield as well is not looking like it's got much change happening there with McKennie and Rabiot. Bringing up the more defensive roles in the midfield and Bentancur just in front of them. Obviously, chance of that changing if they're able to get their man from Sassuolo.
Yeah. So it's not it is a typical Juventus lineup in defense, but like last year, I think under Pirlo, it was mainly a three-man defense at the back there. So Allegri's back. I think that's a positive thing for Juventus. I think Allegri has the right mentality, and we all know he's been able to do it before, and he's pulled out really good results at Milan and at Juventus. So I think that's added a plus from last year. They've added no one to their team specifically except for the young striker Kaio Jorge from Santos. I think it's Santos of Brazil. So I think that's a good addition for the future. Ronaldo, was he going? Is he staying? So it looks like Ronaldo is going to be staying. I think his intent was to go to PSG. There is a lot of talk today about Mbappe having a conversation today to leave because he runs out his contract. So I think PSG want to monetize that, and he might be going to Real Madrid. I think that'll be good for the world of football just to make PSG slightly weaker. But if that happens, there is a lot of talk about them jumping on Ronaldo. So Ronaldo and Messi in the same team. Let's see how that works out. But as of now, it looks like Ronaldo is going to be staying at Juventus. And also for the Serie A in general, it's good if he does stay.
Yeah, super interesting, especially with the wingers they've got at their disposal. If Dybala and Chiesa can play the way that they were playing the other night in the friendly against Atalanta, Chiesa is really looking like he might have his breakout season this year. He's looking incredibly exciting. He's got wind in his sails after winning the Euro. And I think that's a player that for this season and for Fantasy League, it's a player to really keep in consideration. Will they get their Locatelli in midfield is the real big question, and that would make a difference.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them pushing. Like they've had, I think, 5 meetings now for Locatelli, and there's just an issue on the decision on the price. 40 million. Listen, Locatelli is a good player. I think he has a lot of prospect, but 40 million is a lot for a midfielder. That is he going to make Juventus an amazing team? I think he's going to provide quality to the Juventus midfield, but he's no Pogba. Obviously, Pogba is 100 million, but he's not going to be providing that. Like Chiesa was 40 million. Chiesa does bring that X factor. Chiesa gets you goals. So are you spending 40 million on a midfielder that Locatelli still has a lot? He's a holding midfielder, but I don't know. There's a lot of doubt in my mind. Like I think he would be good for Juventus, but 40 million is a lot.
Or when you consider that Roma might just get their hands on Zakaria for 30 million, same age, same position, with a lot more international experience, that sort of puts it into perspective.
True. Well, with that being said, I would say the biggest addition to the Juventus side this year from what they were missing last year is Dybala. I think Dybala suffered a lot under Pirlo. He was going through COVID issues. Got a few injuries, but Dybala under Allegri shined. I think Allegri's put him on the center of the project. And with Ronaldo moving out next year, Dybala is going to become the focal point of Juventus. And I think Dybala is definitely going to shine. They're going through contract negotiations now, and I think he wants a really big salary. So if that goes through, then Dybala will be the next star of Juventus.
Yeah, so taking a look at this team, I think it can be summarized in one sentence. Max is back. And just with that, I think we give the team the stamp of approval for improvement this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Juventus is going to do well. I would actually put them down as my favorites for the season, but we'll do a Serie A prediction in the next few days, put the table of where we are, and then at the end of the season, we'll have another video just to see how well we did. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds perfect on my side. Okay, the next team that we're going to be taking a look at, obviously in alphabetical order, would be the Biancocelesti of Rome or Lazio. Lazio is another team that hasn't seen very much in the way of changes, 1 or 2 additions. Damien, what do you think of this formation?
So Lazio, once again, they have changed in the sense that Sarri coming in is a big change. Definitely, I enjoy the way Sarri played with Napoli, not so much the way he played with Juventus. So let's see what type of Sarri ball Lazio will be playing. The big change, I think, the biggest change for Lazio is they've changed from their 3-man 3-5-2 that they played for the last 5 years. They're moving to a 4-3-3. So is that going to work for Lazio? Is it not? It's going to be interesting to see. I watched the friendly the other day. I forget who they were playing, but they played quite well. Nothing fantastic. The team itself, they brought in Anderson back from West Ham, so returning back to Lazio. But all in all, and they also got the right back from Napoli, so Hysaj. So there is a slight improvement to the team, but I think the biggest question mark here is Luis Alberto and Luis Leiva played really well in a 5-man midfield. Will that translate in a 3-man midfield? So there's a question marks for me. I think it's still a good team. Like if you look at it on paper, it's a great team, but I do have some questions. What about you?
So yeah, with Hysaj out on the left and with their main man Lazzari down the right, this team does offer something in the way of wing backs. Hysaj is one of Sarri's boys and is one of those men that Sarri wanted in the team. So he's going to be an interesting addition to the squad. I know a couple of other teams were interested, but he wanted to go back to Sarri. So yeah, I don't know if you can really say Lazio has improved. I think Sarri is a better coach than Inzaghi. But at the same time, his football does take a bit of time to implement and understand. So I think that maybe Lazio drops down a peg or two at the beginning of the season until they get this football as a more natural approach. And then at that point, I think that you can probably say that they've improved. But I don't know about right now.
Well, there is also talk about, so everyone knows Barcelona has to drop a lot of their players just for salary cap reasons. There's a lot of talk about Lazio possibly getting Coutinho. I think that would be a really good addition to the team if Coutinho comes with the mentality of wanting to play, clearly. But keeping Ciro Immobile, like, listen, this is a good team. It's one of Italy's top 7 teams. I don't think they've lost that. Sarri is arguably a better coach than Inzaghi. Well, he's won more. So I think it's a strong Lazio team. Is it stronger? It's the same question marks I have for Inter.
Yeah, at least this is more of a same team. Inter, you've dropped the 2 biggest pieces, replaced them well.
But the thing about Inter is they kept their formation. Here is a completely different football. Now, are these Lazio players good players for this formation? Like, look at their midfield. There's Milinkovic, which is great, but then we have Luis Alberto and Leiva. So it's a good midfield, but is it a good 3 midfield?
Yeah, well, these are the question marks I think a lot of Lazio fans have got on their lips at the moment. And 5 days to kick off, so we're going to find out soon.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah, I think the games are spread across Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be very hot games. So here in Italy right now, I think we're at 36 degrees in Milano. So that will influence the games a lot.
So if you haven't already, please take a second to like and subscribe this video. We will be coming across the next few days with the rest of the teams that are missing. I think we're about halfway through now, if I'm not mistaken. So like and subscribe, and we will see you next time on the Pink Table.